The same day Nintendo unveiled both Zelda and the Famicom disk system to the Japanese public, Konami meanwhile put out a big title for the Famicom itself, Goonies. Of course based on the 1985 movie, The Goonies, making it the first original movie license title for the Famicom, not counting Kung Fu, aka Kung Fu Master, aka Spartan X, which was an arcade port based on the Hong Kong movie Wheels on Meals. The Goonies was a 1985 movie about a bunch of kids who find a treasure map in their attic and go searching for gold to avoid losing their house to some greedy country club owner. All while a family of criminals called the Fratellis are after them after crossing paths. It's about as pure and innocent as a family movie gets.
You idiot, you put it on upside down!
Dork, if God meant to do it that way, you'd all be pissing in your faces.
As I said, pure and innocent. The film is considered one of the best movies of the 80s, although I just think the movie's okay. I think I have to like it because I'm a resident of Oregon and I've been to Astoria several times. But anyways, if the film was a success or not in Japan is something I can't determine, so why exactly Konami wanted to make this game is anyone's guess. It can't be to eventually port to the US. At this point, the US market was just barely a thing. But whatever the reason, the game was actually a huge smash in Japan, and the game is probably more famous than the movie there. Of course, America did not get the original Goonies on the NES, just the sequel to Goonies 2. However, the game did show up on Nintendo's PlayChoice 10 arcade machines, and the special arcade version, a part of Nintendo's Versus Arcade series Versus the Goonies, appeared as well. Yet no home version. Why is this? Well, I'll get to that in a bit. Goonies is the first original game from Konami, who at this point was just porting their arcade and PC games to the Famicom market. Starting now, Konami would begin to put more faith into the Famicom, now letting titles that would just be released on PCs alone would get a Famicom release as well. That's pretty great because the Goonies is a fantastic game to start with. The goal of Goonies is to have Mikey, the main character of the film, save the Goonie hidden in the level that's behind a locked door. To open this door, you must bomb it open with bombs that are dropped by the mini mice throughout the cavern. Along with the Goonie you save, you must find the 3 keys also hidden behind the doors to open the gate. Collect them all and then head to the locked gate to go on to the next level. Just don't forget your Goonie pal or else you'll start over from level 1 when you reach the final level. For a 1986 game, Goonies is actually a pretty faithful effort. If you're familiar with the film, you'll recognize all the locations that the characters went through, starting in the restaurant, then going into the underground pipelines, the waterfalls, and at the finale, the pirate ship of One-Eyed Willie. Even some little things like this. The 2 Fratelli brothers are running around the level as enemies, which sadly they look nothing like they do in the movie. Here they look like generic Italian mobsters. But wait, notice they attack with guns? And what's this? Singing? Just like in the movie, I just now noticed that! You clever bastards, Konami. And you can even say the Goonies and the keys being behind these locked doors may be a reference to when Chunk was in the freezer? I don't know, that's my best bet. So Konami actually did a cool thing by watching the film before making the game. Good on you. But there is one noticeable difference. You play as Mikey, played by Sean Astin in the film. He was like 11 years old in the movie, which is what most of the boys looked like in the movie as well. So why is it when you save a member of the Goonies, they look like a midget compared to you? And in the final level, you save Andy, one of the girls of the Goonies, that's about the same size as Mikey, despite being around 17 in the movie. Konami, did you mean to make the playable character Brandon, Mikey's older brother played by Josh Brolin, whose love interest was Andy? This seems like such an obvious mistake, especially when they got so much of everything else right. And you know what, Konami? I don't remember there being Kasunes in the Goonies either. If I had to compare Goonies to something, it would definitely be Spelunker. That game we covered a few episodes ago and is notable for being a complete joke in Japan. Even an anime studio made a few OVA episodes based on how pathetic the Spelunker character is. But what if you took the game Spelunker and made it fun? Well, Konami's got you covered because the Goonies solved its major problem. Look at that. You know, we all take for granted how terrible it could have been if platformers took the arcade route and made all our platformer characters died if they dropped from too low. Thanks for that, Mario. But Goonies is also an improvement in almost every way. No worrying about losing air, so the extra items you find are helpful, like potions you can drink to increase your health and slingshots that give you a ranged attack until you run out of bullets. But Goonies also has hidden upgrades to find in the game. Emphasis on hidden because, like I said last episode, 1986 would be a year of hidden things in video games, whether it be to progress the game or just a simple upgrade like in here. Most of the time it's jewels that you can find that'll increase your health if you find 8 of them, but the good stuff is things like the pair of earmuffs or a football helmet that'll protect you from the Fratelli singing or falling rocks. The sad thing is, to find where they're hidden is also very arbitrary. Usually you have to jump or kick or duck in a very specific place and level just to find it. Thankfully most of the time it'll be in a little area of the level that seems to have no place being there, but then sometimes it'll be like right here. Why do that? And now it's time to get into why I think Konami never exported this game out of Japan on home consoles. After 5 levels of rescuing all the Goonies, you'll make it to One-Eyed Willie's pirate ship where you save Andy, which will take you about 5 minutes tops. After that, you'll see the ending, which features the Goonies holding hands in Kumbaya as the ship sails out to sea. Again to point out how huge Mikey is for being 11. And then after that, it's back to level 1. If you couldn't guess, the Goonies is a rather short game. Well, if you know the continue code. Yes, sadly, we've yet to reach the era of simply choosing to continue or quit the game. Even with that, collecting all the upgrades will make you impervious to all the obstacles except the enemies themselves, thus making the game much easier. So compared to the Goonies 2, which was a full-fledged adventure compared to the more simplistic Goonies 1, Konami probably wanted to give American consumers more bang for their buck and went straight for the newest game. Plus, when you could only release so many games, well, bigger's most definitely better. But even with the Goonies 1986 drawbacks, it's still a very fun and definitely recommended. Of course, it's not the best NES Konami game, but it's a great beginning to one of the best publishers on the NES's output of original titles.